Hello, thank you for tuning in to this week's versions of readings. This is on YouTube channel James13 Wicca. In case you're seeing it anywhere else, this is where it should be. Also, I'm now offering live readings, in-person readings, if you're near Herkimer, New York. This weekend, October 26th, I will be in Dolishville for a benefit for Lisa Knapp, doing short readings. I believe that's from 1 to 5. I'll have more information on my Instagram on that. Of course, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. This is James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Information below. If you're interested in the donation information, then information is also below. Thank you very much, and let's go into your reading. Hello, Pisces. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Pisces? What do we have? Something has to be dealt with. You got one card upside down so far. Let's see if any more show up. It's the Six of Swords. Right side up, it's moving on from difficult times. Upside down, it's like, got to be dealt with. Something has to be dealt with. That's the way I read it anyway. There's something. Okay. There's heavy influences around you. Heavy. By heavy, I feel like they can't be ignored. Are we good? How many of these are we gonna put in here? So I feel like there's a lot happening all at once, quite frankly. So before I forget, while I was shuffling, a card flew right out of the deck and landed like it's coming up. It's gonna happen. Just so you have a heads up. The Tower card is coming, which usually means it's not expected, but something is coming. Something is going to hit fast, and whatever's going on here right now, something can't be denied. Something has to be dealt with, but in addition to that, the Tower's going to fall. Something else is going to add into it, so it's going to be like, okay, I have to deal with this. Let me just get in here and deal with it. And when you're doing that, when you're in process of doing that, the Tower comes in and says, oh, by the way, bam, by the way, this. So let's keep that in mind as we go forward. This is going to be one of those readings where you watching the reading isn't going to make it happen. It's either hit or it's either going to hit or not. And if it is happening, hopefully it gives you something to help you handle this a little easier, or it gives you a little advantage to dealing with it. That's the point of it, just so you know. There's a lot of good cards here, but like I want to address that right off the bat because whatever's coming in would not be denied. You got the King of Wands in the environment, and I feel like I've been avoiding it. I've been avoiding this situation. I've been avoiding something. There's anxiety at the very least with this. It doesn't have to be a bad thing, by the way. It may just be like, I'm getting, for some of you, it's a version of stage fright. It doesn't have to be literal, in the sense of like you're standing up in front of a lot of people and you have to talk. It doesn't have to be literal. But stage fright is like that type of feeling. Like I feel like I'm on center stage. I feel like I have to perform. Could be something work-related where you have to do some type of rapport or some type of connection with something, and a lot of people are going to see it. So you're like, it feels like you're on center stage. Maybe not in the moment, but it's like whatever you do is now going into center stage is what it may feel like. I feel like I've been kind of avoiding it, kind of like treading quietly, trying to just kind of back away slowly, trying to like, if you don't see me, maybe I don't have to do this. You have to do this. If this reading is hitting, it's kind of like, you got to do this. Throughout this situation, and by the way, I should have the decks and dice below if you're looking for that information. I don't know if I mentioned that in the intro. The Lover's card and the Queen of Fire. But the Lover's card in the sense of like, whatever this is, I feel like it's pressure to perform. And maybe that's why I'm avoiding it. It's more pressure to perform. It may be one of those things where you can actually do this. Other people maybe don't. And you're like, maybe that's okay that they don't. Because it's like, once people realize I can do this, that this might change how things are going, and it feels like once I walk through this door, I can't unwalk through this door. It's kind of like once you open the door to the kitchen and people smell the good things you're baking, they want to be in there. And once they know, they know. It's one of those things. I feel like I've been trying to hold back purposefully because I'm nervous about something. I feel like it's pressure to perform a lot. That self-care thing. I mean, I like this card. I feel like it's a very attractive card, but it also, the lady's face on there shows a lot of like, oh my God, I'm having a hard time doing this. I'm having a hard time looking out for myself. I'm having a hard time putting time for myself. Okay, so I feel like whatever's coming in, there's something coming in. Self-care is becoming an issue. Time demand is coming in. People feel like this is where you need to be. People are pulling you forward. I feel like I'm just getting sucked right into something. Just sucked right into it. A little bit of anxiety. I think it's more anxiety, but it's the Knight of Swords. So it's mental anguish in some version, just to be fair. I mean, it's a general read. Take it with a grain of salt. Hopefully this, once you get into it, once you start rolling with it, once you start moving the dough, if you will, it gets easier, hopefully. There are things here that are kind of letting you know the sooner you kind of step forward, the sooner you step into the situation, the sooner you get into the water, if you will, the sooner you can get used to it, the sooner you can kind of get comfortable and make it and do what you got to get done. The sooner you get into it, the easier it'll be, is what I'm also getting, if that makes sense, unless I've been saying that anyway. I feel like I'm still reluctant. It's hard, but I feel like it really is. It reminds me of being in a pool, and it's kind of like, you know, I just need to kind of like get into the water. Like I just got to get into it. I just got to get into it. Just got to do it. It's kind of like convince yourself, just got to do it. Meanwhile, 5, 10, 20 minutes later, you're like, yeah, I just got to do it. You're still saying to yourself, I just got to do it. I just got to do it. And you're just not. At least that's me. And then you're finally going to do it. This is a good thing. There's a very positive energy here with this. There should be a very good outcome for you in this. Even if the situation overall does not seem appealing, the end result should be a positive connection for you. The blessing in disguise is telling me something about this, at the very least, I'm not enjoying. But I'm also getting with this card here, it's saying outcome, after effect, stuff like that, very positive, very good. That Tower card is coming in. So that Wheel of Fortune with the Tower, like things just keep going left and right, left and right, left and right. The Tower starts falling in. The Tower makes me nervous. It seems like it's around this situation. It may be kind of like direct, indirect. How do I explain this? Whatever's happening, it's almost like somebody you care about, something's happening to somebody you care about. And it's kind of like, it's very upsetting because I need to help them. It's not happening to me physically directly. Like it's not physically happening to me, but it's emotionally putting a toll on me. So there's an emotional like storm going on around this situation. And then I feel like when that Tower card comes in, it's kind of your moment to shine. Okay. Because you do get a chance to step forward and help with that. I feel like you're gonna anyway. Whatever it is, it feels like it means a significant amount to you that you do step forward and do something with that. Because I get the Magician, like, I don't question you're gonna step forward and do something, but I feel like there's like this weird energy that comes in, which is very questionable. Participating, lending a hand is helpful enough. Participating and lending a hand is good enough. You don't have to save the day. You don't need to get that shirt on with the S on it and jump over tall buildings in a single bound and do all that. You don't have to do that. And they're saying, ironically, having that boundary and realizing what I've done is enough, what I've done is sufficient, what I've done actually does make a good difference, you don't have to go crazy. Because I feel like I have to help. I have to make this as best as possible. There's something going on here, and I guess got to bend over backwards, and I want their situation to get better. So if I just like break myself in two and burn the candle at both ends and do everything hopscotch, backflips, whatever I can do, then at least they'll know that I care. They already know you care. FYI. Whatever the situation is, I feel like that's part of the motivator. Like they have to know I care. I want them to know how much I care. They know you care. You breaking yourself in two and doing backflips and hopscotch and anything else you can think of doesn't change that. They already know you care. There's no question. There's no question. And people are centering on other things. You don't have to break yourself in two. Because there seems to be this need to do that. They're saying you don't have to do that to save the day. What they're advising to do what you're asked to do. Do what you're asked to do. Let that be it. Let that be it, and then just kind of watch, and then just remind people, if you need something else, let me know. It can be hard because it's kind of like, I want to save the day. I want this to go better for them. I want this to be like, your heart goes out to whatever's going on here. Just I would like give it 2, possibly 3 days, just every now and then touch base and remind them, hey, you need anything? I'm here. I'm here, just let me know. Don't push forward, ironically. Sometimes it's warranted. In this situation, remind them, if you need, I'm here. I would give it, I'm pushing more towards 3 days. Like, check in every 3 days, short conversation. If you need anything, I'm here. Like 3 days. Something about 3 days. I don't know. Take it with a grain of salt. It's a general read, you know. Having that boundary, but still having your heart open, kind of like you need something, I'm here. That will put the balance in this situation, because you will help. And I do feel for those of you who are putting that out there that you're honest with that, and they know that. Sometimes it's not the actual action that people need. It's just like knowing that they can ask you, knowing that they can call on you. It's kind of like, I don't need anything right now. And, you know, sometimes people do need their space. I feel like Pisces usually understands that, usually. You just need your space. Maybe this person or situation just needs its space. Not anything negative, but like they just need that. You know what I mean? Sometimes I feel like Pisces knows that. Like, love everybody, love it all. It's all good, but you just need time to yourself. Nothing negative against anybody else. You just need time to yourself. And I feel like that might be something with this too. So it's kind of like every 3 days putting it out there. You need something, I'm here for you. Short conversations more likely. Take it with a grain of salt. It's a general read. That would help you and them. That could be a better outcome for this situation. Take it in stride. You decide if that's right for you or not, of course. What is going on here? It's like there's a heavy something. Somebody doesn't want to let go of something, but it's going. I don't know, my heart is heavy for it. Somebody doesn't want to let go of something, but it's going. I get the 8 of Cups reversed, and I feel like there's a reluctance to move forward to the next situation. But it's going. I feel like it is going. Whatever's going on here, it's going. Take it in stride. Take it with a grain of salt as you keep moving forward in this situation. There's changes going on here. Other people might be struggling. I don't see, like, I feel like, be careful. Be careful. There are other people who are struggling here, but be careful. Make sure you take care of yourself. One of the die ended up on this, like, prioritize your self-care. Prioritize that. This situation, as it keeps moving forward, keep it in mind. If you have to put it on like a list or a reminder daily to pop up, like do things that, like, put things on your schedule. Keep reminding, don't just remind yourself to make time for yourself. Make sure you do it. It has to be a priority. I remember a person years ago, she managed her personal time in this way. She would say she had doctor's appointments. They were hair appointments and stuff like that. But she would just list them as self-care. But people thought they were doctor's appointments. It didn't matter. If you literally have to schedule like every other week, like, you know, you're going to this, you're going to that. If you're dealing with a corporate situation, typically you can say something's a doctor appointment if you have to. I don't know. I'm not saying to lie, but if you got to do what you got to do, you got to do what you got to do. So you can have a couple hours to yourself. I knew a lady who did that. Like, people were out of the house by 8 o'clock in the morning. So she would schedule personal time for 2 hours. She wouldn't go in till 10. People didn't know that. Like, people in her family didn't know that. But she would take that time to herself just so she could just sit back, not worry about things, and just have a nice breakfast with whoever, do what she wanted to do, watch some shows, just to have a couple hours to where she just had personal time for herself. You got to do what you got to do. Do it the way you got to do it, because that is important. If you're able to balance that, this can go really well. Because whatever's coming in here, there's a lot of abundance coming in with it. A lot of abundance is coming in, but you gotta, I shouldn't say you gotta, you don't have to do anything. It's helpful to find a way to balance that to where you're not, you know, draining yourself. You gotta have the self-care in there. If you don't have the self-care balance, whatever it is that's coming in with all this beautiful abundance will become overwhelming, and it won't last. Unfortunately, it won't. Because the need for self-care, if that's not taken care of properly, your energy is going to drop. You're going to start pulling back. For some people, especially Pisces, in my opinion, tend to be very creative. But if the self-care is out of balance and you're just really not taking care of yourself, in my opinion, at least for my experience, I'm a Pisces, if you're not taking care of yourself, that creativity starts to dwindle, and it starts to get more of a challenge to do things, and you're not able to perform or get things done or get things the way you want them if you're not balancing out your self-care. So this can keep going, but if you're not balancing the self-care, it probably won't. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. It's all hinging on you taking care of yourself and not feeling bad about taking care of yourself. The better you can do that, the more you can do that and balance it, like staying connected, participating enough to where you get a lot done, but then balancing it out enough for your self-care, what your self-care requires for you, and only you know what that is, how much that is. If you can balance that, this can go on for quite a long time. And it's not only doing it, but not feeling bad about it. That's another piece of it. Because sometimes, you know, we feel guilty for taking time for ourselves. There's always people who do, especially if you're a parent. I feel like parents feel bad when they take time for themselves and like, oh, but my kid needs this, my kid needs that, no matter how old they are. But it's kind of like, you know, still building in your own self-care the way you need to, kind of like realizing, I'm seeing the whole plane thing, which I'm sure a lot of you know what I'm talking about. Like, if the plane's going down or having an issue and the masks drop from the ceiling, they're like, you got to secure your own mask before you can help somebody else, because if you pass out while you're trying to help somebody else, you're not going to be helpful to anybody. You're not going to be helpful to anybody. Secure your mask first, make sure you're okay, and then help other people around you. And that's kind of what the self-care thing is here. Are we good? All right, I think we're there. I'm going to shut this down here. Hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.